Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the comedy action adventure film Wheels of Fortune, starring Matt Jones. Maddie Carter-Lope is in this. Carter-Lope? Carter 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 Maddie Carter, as well as John Ducey, Noreen DeWolf. Just read the four main characters there. So this is quite entertaining. 2020, I said? Yes, 2020, hour 46. Just reading all my stats, right to my right, to your left. Matt Jones. Matt Jones is a great comedic actor. He's got great physical comedy, but he's extremely well versed in improv. And so the fact that there's a full credit blooper reel through the extent of the entire credits is just so cool, watching how the different scenes played out. Different takes of different scenes played out. So Matt plays this character, Beauregard, and he's a bastard child. The term bastard is just referencing simply an individual who's born out of wedlock. That's it. So he never met his father. Father abandoned him, but his dad happens to be a CEO of this company who fooled around with his mom at some event, and then just that was it. He was gone. And the father had two legitimate children who has worked in his company for quite some time. So the father passes away and has this quest now for the other son, Beauregard, to then win a series of events. To then, if he can win the series of events, if he can win the challenges, the 4 different challenges for these events, he will then take the company and win all the money of the company and inheritance, right? So Bo plays his mechanic, and he's involved with tractor pulling competitions. And so the first challenge is the tractor pull challenge. Then we go to another state, and then there's a pickup truck race challenge. Then we go to another state. Then there's a drag boat race challenge. Then we go to another. I think, actually, scratch that. 2 things were in California, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Last thing was definitely in Anaheim, California. That was a monster truck rally. And all he has to do is podium. So when somebody podiums, it's either you're in first, second, or third place. He has to podium at all 4 events, and then he wins the company. Now, at the very end, it's the whole found family aspect. He's traveling the world. He's traveling the country with his best friends. And Maddie plays his character of Noodle, so they call it Team Boodle. Bo and Noodle, Boodle. So Team Boodle is doing their things, and their childhood friend Mandy, who happens to be Noodle's stepmother, even though she's now divorced from his father, who's now in love. Mandy is now in love with Bo's character, and then he's been in love with her for quite some time. So then they wind up getting together at the end, and it's a matter of, is Bo now going to be Noodle's dad? It's just very entertaining. But the ending of that 4th competition was, no, I'm going to stop Mandy from going back to Tennessee because I was a horrible person and she deserves the best, and I love her and she needs to know these things. So then it turns out that the father was not dead, that he was alive this entire time, just challenging everybody. And so he visits them in California at the bus station via helicopter, because that's how this works, and realizes it's that found family aspect, that it's more about the family togetherness and doing things as a team versus the money itself. But then Bo's like, no, I want to finish the competition, not to prove anything to you, but to prove it to myself that I can do this. So he does it, he wins, and then all is right with the world. But it's a satire film. It's pure redneck stereotypes throughout, but it has really good comedy to it. I actually laughed out loud multiple times through this, and that's strictly because of the improv that Matt does throughout this. Very, very talented, very entertaining, but there's a lot of great comedic moments to it. What I also really liked is how this particular project used a lot of stock footage, a lot of B-roll footage from actual events, actual drag boat events, actual motocross. That was the 4th thing. 3rd thing, motocross was the 3rd thing. Monster truck was the 4th thing. There we go. It's just very entertaining watching all of these things, because it's actual crowd members and actual events and actual things, right? Actual racing things. And then it comes together with the filming of Matt in the truck, or Matt in the car is like clearly on a set, and they splice it all in. But I like that. I like seeing real things. We talked about that with Miracle on 34th Street, where when they filmed that back in the 40s, that was a real Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade they filmed at, and they used that footage and the stock roll B-roll footage of the crowds of the just normal people just watching the parade for the actual movie, which then came out a year later. And I like seeing that. I like seeing the real people doing the real things. It almost feels like a documentary, even though it's not. It's a fictitious story as a movie. It's a neat little splicing together kind of a thing. This surprised me. I mean, it's not the best film I've ever seen, but it surprised me because I actually laughed. And I really liked the conversations that they all had. I really liked the growth that the characters had as well. It surprised me. It surprised me. I enjoyed it. I laughed. I will watch this again. Wheels of Fortune. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.